Let's see what we got going
And
here
here
today.
we go.
Yeah, it's working. Okay, it sounds a little faint though. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh, and we're going to talk about direct mail today. Okay? Yeah, I think I'm going to start titling these my main topic and just fill in the goofy topics in the front of it. I think maybe I'd get more impressions and reach and stuff. I'm trying to actually work on that after 1,200 videos up on YouTube. I figured it's time I try to actually get some likes and subscribes and listeners. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, and maybe I should stop talking about mail. What do you think? Anybody think I should stop talking about mail? Is anyone else talking about mail? No one else is foolish enough to be talking about mail. So let's start with some talk about mail. Right? Why not? Okay, here's a commercial by Canada Post extolling their virtues. Let's see how it goes. It's kind of spooky.
Starting today,
Oh,
all Canada Post ground services are carbon neutral.
there's this
Over 200
clear
million
box.
packages a year, traveling lighter upon the Earth. And that's just the start.
It's just the start.
We're delivering more for the greener good.
Okay, so Canada Post, as of today, is carbon neutral. Now, I'm not exactly sure how you do that. Steve Falk talks a little bit about it, and he did a fairly extensive study of the carbon footprint of mail, and maybe I'll find the link on that. Steve, if you're listening, chime in. And anyway, what he said was the main issue with paper was not its recyclability. It's obviously a renewable resource. Look at all the trees in this picture. You can plant trees, they grow, you harvest them, you make paper. It's not. It's one of the more sustainable means of communication, right? Especially if you incinerate it and turn it into power. But the problem, we all want to be carbon neutral. I'm not sure actually why, because the carbon cycle is a loop. The world is a greener place because CO2 has increased from its bottom out low point of about 200,000 years. And climate change really is driven by the sun. It's becoming more and more and more obvious every day. I said it pretty much all along. And this is a nice warm period. Warm periods are times of prosperity for the earth. And you can see that in the price of rice and sunspot record of the Chinese for 1,000 years. But the truth is, what? You've got electric vehicles, which are really coal powered. I mean, what? How have you magically become carbon neutral? You got put up windmills that kill birds and take so much concrete and steel that you can't even believe it, that they never pay it back. I mean, if you really, really stretch it out, it's really, really difficult. So I don't believe their claim, but as I said, we'll check in with Steve Falk, who's a supporter. But anyway, my friend Amy Houston writes, the metaphorical spot sees ethereal boxes gliding through highways. So there's the box. I don't know if you can even see it. There's sort of the edges. It's kind of magical. I kind of like the way they did this. I don't know how they did it. I guess they probably put green screens on boxes and then pasted the background over the front. My guess, don't know. Canada Post is touting its carbon credentials with this new spot that doubles down on its commitment to ensuring that it leaves little impact on the country's natural environment. Okay, and Steve says basically it's the carting the stuff around that makes gives mail a carbon footprint at all, almost. So the lighting department, just so you're really comfortable about this, the lighting department used natural light wherever possible in this shot, and generators were turned off when not in use. Gas generators, diesel. As one of it's such a greenwash deal, you know. Plant more trees, that's be a good thing. Danielle Dorian, General Manager of Marketing at Canada Post. We know that delivering for Canadians is about more than delivering packages. It's really not for you. It's really about delivering packages. She says it's also about delivering a greener future. Well, you know, yeah, best you can. Use less coal. Okay, here's shocking news. Shocking breaking news. Shocking breaking shocking news. Oscar Mayer's Wienermobile gets a new name after 100 years. Okay? It's the all beef FrankMobile. And there's a warning label on the side of it that says basically, don't lick the vehicle. And if you're, this is from Adweek, from Sarah Century, great name. And so Oscar Mayer, I was going to look up the difference between a wiener and a frank. If anybody can tell me what the difference is, I sure don't know. But they're making a big deal out of all beef. So I'm thinking that all beef, maybe franks are all beef and wieners are a mix of cereal and other things. Of course, there's a lot on we just went, the steers are back in my next door. They take them in for the winter, but they're out on the pasture as of today. So that's great. I love to see them out there. And I was worried yet another subdivision would be going in, but no, we got some beef cattle out there. But there's a lot on a cow or a steer that that could be ground up for filler, you know, like gelatin from hoofs. But so I don't really know the difference between the wiener and a frank. But if you're named Frank and you check with the website down below, it says FrankMobile on the front. It really does look spiffed. Looks like they spiffed it up a little bit. But I do see these going down the highway, and you know, I had a traumatic experience as a child when I got up to see little Oscar, who was like a diminutive employee of Oscar Mayer. Little Oscar was handing out wiener whistles, which have now been renamed Frank whistles. It just doesn't have the same zing as a wiener whistle. He was handing out wiener whistles, and he said to me, "You don't get one, you already have one." And I said, "No, I don't." And I was about 6 years old, and I started crying. But I remember that stuff. This is a near-death experience. Humiliation. You know, I was misidentified. So anyway, a lot of questions. This raises a lot of questions in my mind. But if you're named Frank and you look up the website for where the Wienermobile will be located, I could click on this. The link is in the article on wdma.org. You can go there and subscribe for free, and you can find the location of the Wienermobile, and it stops for the day. Anyway, let's get out of there. Okay, direct mail volume and trends report Q1. The shocker was year-over-year volume. I don't know why they didn't take the time to spell that out. It's a long article anyway. This is from Jacqueline Johnson Leister. Year-over-year volume is down 29%. And this is before the postal, the upcoming next postal increase. My, oh my. Maybe I should talk about a different topic. Is it me? Am I doing this? No. According to Pete Carroll, it's coming from and the credit card industry is up. There's some other things that are up. Patrick Carroll says that the impact of higher interest rates is slowing down the mortgage mailers and automotive industries. Automotive is down 62 or 3%. Mortgage is down 60%. He says, but the good news, good thing there's some good news, the channel is exceeding client expectations. So if you are mailing, you're getting great results and outperforming what we saw a year ago. Okay, so the other interesting thing I thought was there's a shift in creative package type away from postcards and self-mailers and towards envelopes. Personalization on mailers is down because you know it's really not personal. We'll say more on that in a second. QR code usage is up 46%, and I just don't see why anyone doesn't put a QR code on there somewhere just to get you to the web. Okay, my kids shop on their phones. It's a perfect segue from physical world to phone world. Okay, so here's a infographic. There's the down. Here's the specifics, 60%, 63, 62% on automotive. Okay, so that's kind of a downer, right? Data provided by CompetScan, February 2023. Not sure how they got the quarter to end in February, but we'll just let it go. Maybe it's a fiscal quarter. 5 tips for waking up tired mail. This is coming from DPI Direct. Get creative with the envelopes. Consider using a bright, fun color. Now we're going to highlight some things here. Consider, add a teaser. Special offer just for Bob. This would be a personalized on the outside of the envelope. Susie, you won't believe what's inside, but you know, I know when I see these that it's junk mail. Or let's say ad mail. I don't mind the term junk mail. We're not going to get into that today. But did you know we can print the outside of the envelope too? I did know that. Okay, but you could do that. Try self-mailers, postcards, or faux express mail and air designs on occasion. Okay, I remember my first try at that. The Postal Service decided because it was personalized, this was back, 40 years ago, they decided that we'd done them with computers. Now it reconnected. Okay. So we're back. Usually LinkedIn jumps that and keeps it connected and keeps looking, but LinkedIn will have 2, and I'll have to fix that. So anyway, they reclassified my mail as first class, and I had to drive down to Chicago because Milwaukee had classified it incorrectly, and we got it straightened out. Okay, so here, change your offer. Your offers can get tiring too. So if you've been offering a discount, try a free trial instead. Try a softer approach. Add a time limit. Ben, the offer, put it on the outside. Ben, the offer expires in 3 days. Robert, your offer is set to expire. Respond now. Could look like a rubber stamp, time limit, set across the top. Yeah, all of those things. But, you might want to also say something about what's inside. Because if the inside doesn't interest me, then I don't care how much of this shenanigans you do. But one of the things that I notice on this is that there's a lot of try this, try that, change this, change that. Nobody talks about testing. You should never make these changes without testing, without doing, and with a digital press, it's very, very easy. There's no plate changes, no nothing, just another set of artwork. And you can do an A-B split and find out if a colored envelope does better. Find out if that little personalized message helps or hurts. Could help, could hurt. Test a QR code, for heaven's sakes, as we said in the previous article. Okay? But as usual, no mention of the idea of testing. The only thing to keep in mind, clients, always come to me and say, what about trying this? What about this? What about this creative? Let's work on creative. Everybody spends, most of their time on creative, and it's about 10% of the impact. Offer, yes. List, mostly. okay? But in spite of the fact that it doesn't make much difference, usually, like the color, may not even be statistically significant difference, probably isn't, or DPI printing, tell me a test that you've run where it made a difference. Tell me the incremental impact, the causal impact of colored envelopes versus plain. There's room in this article. Maybe make it 4 tips and actually give me some reason to change. I see this with printers all day long. They want people to try mail, but they don't explain that this is a great way to test offers, to test markets. You don't have to tell the world. You don't have to offer the same thing to everybody like you do in most other mass media. You can send a different offer to your customers versus your prospects. Anyway, there's so many things you can do. And so if you go to LinkedIn and you connect with me, you'll notice that I'm billing myself these days as a fractional DMO, direct marketing officer. If your marketing is lagging, and I've been through now 4 big recessions, some big ones, and a couple others. I think there were 6 that were listed since I started working full time, in marketing. And there's a lot you can do. You need some discipline, though, to find out if it's worth it, to find out which half of your advertising is working. You can find that out. You can know. So, like and share, make a comment. I did ask a few questions at the beginning. I'd like answers. What is the difference between a wiener and a frank? Have a great day.